A vice. This invention is so simple, it's pure genius. Hard to believe that they've only been in workshops for a few years. An oil lamp. It's screwed down. Probably to prevent it starting a fire in heavy seas. I get the feeling that I can still put this to good use. There appears to be a whole load of gunpowder in these barrels. Not possible for me to drag the cannon around with me, but having matches for them is even better. Nice rope. I'm taking that with me. A padlock, a very solid piece of craftsmanship. The hatch to the hold. That has to be where they're holding Ramon prisoner. I can see the starry sky. That's where I want to be. But first, just the other side of this ship's hull will do. It's too well fixed for me to pull out by hand. The fireplace is ready for use. Coal and cinders are already in there. The matches sadly won't light themselves, and I can't make a fire without a flame. A long, pretty straight iron nail. Not much use to me like that. It needs to be bent. So now my match is lit. Better not. The smoke would give me away. The hatch to the hold. That has to be where they're holding Ramon prisoner. that doesn't work. Damn, somebody's relit the torch. I can forget that escape route. I can see the starry sky. The chimney could be blocked up with a sailcloth, but it would probably ignite with the heat. Rather not. The lantern's hanging there quite nicely. I can hardly bend it. The cold nail is pretty stiff and would probably snap if I bent it just like that. I can use it to tie the sailcloth into a bundle. The chimney could be blocked up with a sailcloth. So now I can let it down into the water carefully, nice and quiet. The wet sailcloth will block it without setting on fire. Perfect! So, now I can risk it. Now we're talking. The nail's glowing. Now it can be bent quite easily, but not with bare hands. Now let's see if I can do this. Ha! Who's a clever boy then? Ramon!
Fyodor, what the devil are you doing here? Are you out of your mind?
Don't worry. The guards didn't see a thing. We'll have you out in no time.
You won't get the cage open. Better get out of here before someone sees you.
No, I'm not leaving here without you. I'm sorry that I shouted at you before, Ramon.
That's all right, Fyodor, I know.
Where do they want to take you and why?
We're not going to find that out if you get caught.
Uncle Tabit reckoned they were after the artifact. That crystal you're so keen on. He said that's why they grabbed you.
They ripped it right out of my hands. Fyodor, have I not told you that it's the key?
Yes, to our fortune, not our misfortune.
Quick, Fyodor, hide yourself.
It was nothing, I tell you.
No, it was definitely something.
And even if it were, there's only one way out. Nobody can get out unseen.
Hey, what's wrong with you? Scared that I'm going to bend the bars apart?
Ha! You couldn't even get the door open, even if it were open.
Don't say that. He might be in league with the devil. Why else would he be here?
But he's such a feeble, white-haired specimen.
Another reason. Old Nick always looks for some harmless form to slip into so that he can fool the non-believers.
And he hasn't fooled you, of course.
Why, of course not.
When we reach Tripoli, they'll rip away your mask, Clovenfoot.
You stay down here, just in case there really was something. I'm going back on deck.
Understood.
Locked. Judging by the smell, there's something to eat in it. Smells of pickled fish. If I do have to stay down here for longer, I'm definitely not going to starve. This is a cannon barrel hanging here. Seems a little improvised to me. Damn. Now why does he have to sit right there? I can't go there. There's an armed guard sitting there. Oh, how nice and wet it is here. Otherwise, just the perfect hiding place. It's too stupid. The water is going to rise here during the journey. It's impossible for me to stay in here for long. It would be really nice and dark down here without those lanterns burning. That's my escape route. All that's missing is the hole. Oh no, that's not good.
Hello? Who's there? So, it was just a rat.
That was close. There's not one speck of powder in it. There must be some not too far away, though. No chance. What's that? Looks like a knot hole. A quite big one, though. Since the pipe is hanging down at an angle, everything would fall out again, so not a good idea. It makes more sense to put the powder into the cannon first, otherwise it'll force the ball in the wrong direction. Aha! There's something up there. A powder keg, perhaps. Now something has to work. There you go. And may all your Christmases be black. A little heap of powder. That ought to make a good bang. The powder's in. The ball's in. Everything in the right sequence, and nothing can fall out. The cannon is now loaded and ready. Right there is where I'll soon be getting out. Shh. Hopefully the guard won't have heard that.
There! That's the fellow! I knew there was someone creeping around.
Let's get him!
The guards mentioned something about Tripoli. Do you know where that is?
In North Africa. That's where I got to know your mother. She looked so beautiful in the evening sun down at the harbor, with her white hair and tan skin. And little Ramon was running around her, and she was laughing along with him. Although she had had an arduous journey behind her, with all her baggage and her pregnant belly, she was so young. I just wish we'd had more time.
Damn it! They're torching the house!
Flee over the rooftops, Fyodor. I'll try to hold them up.
No, I'm not leaving you alone, Uncle Tabit.
Just go. I promised your mother I'd protect you. I failed with Ramon, but I'll keep my word with you.
Uncle Tabit!
You are the only one who can still save Ramon. Just go, will you?
Heat. Heat generates the lift. How is it I didn't realize that earlier? I've got to get a move on. Up and away. I can't run about the place. I have to keep still. Just don't look down. The air is getting thinner and thinner. It's going down. The heat is dissipating. I need to do something. The wings are just useless ballast. One moment. What's that? Ramon's talisman. He hung it on the wing, his contribution to the flying machine build. He could do with it himself right now. I'll give it back to him. That's a promise. I'm flying. I'm flying! I only wish Ramon could see me. You should either throw out ballast or turn it into useful heat. If I'm not mistaken, the wind is driving me in a southerly direction, right along the coastline. That's good. And if it's possible, it'll also take me right over the ocean to Africa. Fyodor Morales, the flying genius, the man who outdid Da Vinci, the conqueror of the air. How small the world is down there, and I'm just floating away above it. Nobody before me has ever had this perspective. But how big the ocean is. From here, even bigger and wider and virtually endless. Africa must lie beyond it. Better if I hang the cauldron up first. It's going down. The heat is dissipating. I need to do... It's more use to me when it's broken. I could maybe hang a small stove on it. And this is the perfect stove for it. The wing components are made from wood and ought to burn well, but I need a light first. The torch will go out soon. I need some more material to burn. That ought to give some lift for a while. In any case, it's enough to carry me far enough away from Barcelona. And if I'm lucky, even across the sea to Tripoli. Ramon's beloved lion mask. It's not just one of his artifacts, it's his personal talisman. So this is what it's like to fly. If only I'd known it was like this, I'd have worked on this machine much earlier. When I free Ramon, we can both fly on to America. Perhaps we'll discover yet another continent. The view from up here is 1,000 times better than from any ship. We could christen the new continent Moralia or Tabatania in honor of Uncle Tabit. How quickly the clouds scud by. They're so near. So this is what it's like to... The knowledge that there's miles of space below me has my heart in my throat. But it's an uplifting feeling. I've done it. I'm flying. Luckily, the clouds aren't so thick that they hide the stars. They let me orientate myself. It's going down. The heat is dissipating. I need to do something. I can use it to free a few wicker branches from the basket and keep the fire burning. I'll leave the load-bearing elements alone. Anyway, to know that there's miles of space right below me has my heart beating in my throat. The branches burn well, but rather quickly too.
While the Inquisition's ship, with Ramon imprisoned on board, sailed out onto the Mediterranean, Fyodor sat in his flight basket, at the mercy and whim of the winds. He could keep the machine in the air, but had no influence over the direction it flew. He floated like this, disoriented and powerless, until a church tower brought his trip to a sudden end.
My flight was scuppered by a church spire. What irony. But still, I was lucky. I came through unscathed. But where am I? I've got no idea. And where I came from, there's nothing left to go back to. Uncle Tabit has been arrested or is even dead. Ramon abducted. Our workshop burnt down. My whole life has been completely destroyed within a few hours. Why? I don't know. All I know is where I have to go now. Tripoli. I wonder how far it is. I wish Ramon were here now. The only thing of his I have is his lucky charm.